Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. Like the people.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling
All right. Hello, 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 and welcome one and all to the conference this fine evening. Tis I, Draco Umbra, CEO of Umbro Corp, and I'll take this moment to thank the viewers that are viewing and the followers that are following for joining us this evening and on this conference. How's it going, everybody? Hope you all had a good Sunday. Hope you all had a good weekend. We did it, guys. We made it through another week. Another weekend as well is gone. Sucks, don't it? Gotta tell you though, this 3-day vacation I just went through, God, did I need it. Got plenty of rest. Got to hang out with some people that I wanted to hang out with for a while now. And I got to go to the Renaissance Fair yesterday. I was trying to go to the Metaphysical Fair today, but stuff came up and I couldn't go. And honestly, with how much money I spent at the Renaissance Fair, as well as how much sun that I got, I got a little burned. Little tired is the word of the day. Well, it was so fun. I still had a lot of fun time, so. You know what? The fun thing is, though, is like, so when I went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday, right? I went with my dad. Loved it to bits. Loved every bit of it. going around and walking around and seeing everyone in their own bit of costume, I was looking around, I was just like thinking to myself, damn, I just severely underdressed for this occasion, didn't I? I mean, because I didn't have anything like extravagant when it came to like costumes, right? I was like an old Renaissance peasant garb, like I had the trousers, I had the quote unquote boots, but it was really just like shin guards that formed around the shoe to make it look like boots. So it was kind of boots, but not really. I had like the little felt vest and the belt, of course. It was a nice costume, and I'm glad that I rented it. It was only like $35 for the rental, which is always nice. And I got to bring my knife out to come with me, which was always cool. But after going through all that, I'm like, man, I need to up my game next time they come around, which would be in fall. Because I saw what everyone else was banging out in, and I saw what I was banging out in, and I'm like, damn, I severely underprepared for this. So, I mean, I saw people out there in like Renaissance steampunk gear. I saw people dressed all out in like Knights gear and Warriors gear. There was like 2 dudes that were dressed in as plague doctors. Like the whole kit and caboodle, the black coat, the black cape, the black boots, all that stuff, the mask. Like, it was impressive to say the least. Then I saw like a lot of people out there also dressed as like druids and stuff like that. I was like, man, I really did not dress to impress, did I? But apparently I did, because a lot of people were like, hey, you look really good. This outfit looks very, very unique and nice. I'm like, really? My outfit looks unique. There was a girl who just walked past us wearing a skull of like a dead animal, feathers hanging off of it, staff and everything. I'm the one that looks unique? Are you sure? I feel like I'm underdressed right now. Like, not even gonna lie. But yeah, I have an idea of what I want to get next year, though. Well, not next year, but this fall. So, because I'm gonna start spending a little bit of money to get myself a proper costume that's mine. Complete with boots, like actual boots, an actual outfit, so on and so forth. Like, I really want to give it a go. The question is, though, do I want to go as a Renaissance, another Renaissance character, or do I want to go steampunkish? You know what I mean? Because I saw online, there was a lot of very cool steampunk gear on there. And I can make myself a very good steampunk outfit if I want to. And there was this belt that I saw. It was a belt that had like a thing where you put your weapon in, your sword or your dagger or whatever. A bottle for, like, it came with a glass bottle for you to like attach to your belt that you fill with anything. It had a little thing where you put your book in. So I'm thinking to myself, it'd be really cool if I was like a steampunk Renaissance, where I was like, I had like a book for like jotting down notes and stuff. I have like a little thing for my weapon of choice, which I saw online. There are like 2 steampunk weapons I saw. One was like a steampunk looking knife, and the other one was a steampunk gun sword thing. Which, the sad truth is that we didn't get the chance to even show off our weapons at the fair, which makes sense. I mean, you get a bunch of dudes who are in costume who have weapons, and you give them wine and beer and stuff. Stupid shit's gonna happen. Like, let's be completely fair. Stupid, dumb bullshit will happen. And honestly, like, I mean, the stands out there were amazing. Like, they had so many. I bought myself a cloak out there. I love this cloak, and I think I'm gonna incorporate the cloak into this year's Renaissance Fair, or next year's Renaissance Fair. Because now that I went, I want to keep going. Because my God, that was fun. Like, I had a ball doing that. No pun intended. We got to see jousting. I got to throw an axe and a spear. You know, I still got it. Fucking hurled that axe, hit it right dead center. Hurled that spear, dead center. People would ask me, "He's like, did you do this professionally?" Like, no, God, no. No, I just got a lot of emotion that I want to take out on these signs. They had an actual blacksmithing encampment there where there were people actually forging stuff at a fire. Like, it was really cool. Like, the only problem that I had was that, man, shit was expensive though. My dad got a knife out there, which I thought was gonna be like $70, but because it wasn't marked, the owner of the tent was like, "I'll sell it to you for $35," and he was like, "Fucking hell yeah, I'll take that." But yeah, I'm like looking at half like the stuff out there, like, you know, they have like dresses, cloaks, masks, weapons to sell that you can't even show off. They have like incense burners. They have a tent for like certain things, books, and so on and so forth. All of it was cool. Every single bit of it was cool. I am so glad I got to go. And the best part was, like, you know, when it comes to Renaissance fairs, the one thing I always look forward to was, how is the food? Now, I think I've said this before, but when I go to a state fair, I could not give a solitary fuck about literally anything else at the fair, except for maybe the food. If the food be banging, it's worth it. I gotta tell you guys, I like the food out there, but the Renaissance Fair food was a little immersion breaking. I'm not gonna lie.
Chevy is called the heartbeat
I'm not
of
gonna
America.
lie.
Like the people.
Like, the only two things I would say was three things. The only three things that I could see was the most realistic. The first one was they had a ginger beer, root beer, and cream soda tent, which had no CO2 in it, so it was like authentic, the real deal shit. That stuff was delicious. A butterbeer tent. A butterbeer tent with which you could also put fire whiskey in there, which was just Fireball. That's authentic, but it's also Harry Potter-esque, so it's kind of like, you know, I mean, do we really want to say Harry Potter is Renaissance? Because that's a fucking stretch. That's like that would be like saying Dark Souls is Renaissance-esque. You know what I mean? Even though, in my opinion, I feel like Bloodborne would be a more appropriate draw because Bloodborne is more Victorian Renaissance, kind of, sort of. You know what I mean? But they had one tent out there that sold it. It was like, okay, I absolutely believe that this would be a thing that they would have in the Renaissance era. A smoked turkey leg tent, with the turkey legs being $15. And guys, oh my God. That was delicious. You know, I'll never understand why people don't like turkey legs. Smoked turkey legs, rather. Everywhere I've gone, whether it be Disney World, Universal Orlando, Branson, the state fairs, or even out at the Renaissance Fair, everyone's always been like, I don't know, man, $15 for a smoked turkey leg seems a little bit much. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, $15 for a smoked turkey leg, give me all of it. Nom 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 nom. Yeah, and it was actually rather sunny out yesterday too, so I was kind of surprised by how much I got sunburned. And I feel bad too, because I told everyone here, I told chat, I told X, man, I can't wait to take pictures and show you guys what's going on. I was enjoying myself so much, I only got one picture, and I'm not going to share it. Because it's my dad and I, and no, I'm not doing face reveals. The only time I would ever even conceivably believe to do a face reveal is if I hit a certain follower count. But since I'm a small streamer, I mean small streamer, I don't see me making, like, you know, following goals. Like, if I was to hit 90 followers and have like 5, 6 people watch me at a given time, I would say that's a victory. That's a mission complete right there. Legitimately. Like, I would legitimately be happy if that happened. So when the day comes when I'm like, oh yeah, guys, 100,000 followers or 50,000 followers, and I'll gladly show my face on stream. Like, yeah, I doubt I'll make 50,000 followers one day. I severely doubt that. It's possible though. You never know. Maybe YouTube will pop off. Maybe Twitch will pop off. I don't know. I do not know. I am at the whims of the algorithm, and I am at the wills of the people who want to watch me. Which, by the way, if you're currently watching me right now, thanks. Appreciate it. If you can, send a message saying, hey, hello, hi, how's it going? I was told the other day that I apparently had my thing set to follower only stream. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's correct. I'd have to check again, but I'm pretty sure that's inaccurate. But anyway, yeah, like, by the time like 5:30 rolled around, I was like, all right, it's time to head home. And Dad's like, yeah, cool, let's go. You know, sun was going down. Well, then I got graced by 2 people in particular, the king and queen of the fair. And oddly enough, it wasn't even a king and queen, it was like a pirate king and a pirate queen. I was like, that's suspicious. That's odd. And they just walked up to me and they were like, ah, hello there. It seems, hello there, young man. I was wanting to ask you, would you be interested in joining me tonight for the cannonball? And I'm like, prithee, please tell me exactly what this cannonball entails. And he said, oh, well, you see, the queen and I, we enjoy to throw festivals after hours, you know, enjoy some fine drink, fine meal, enjoy a good fight here and there. I figured I'd like to invite someone here to do it. And I'm like, that's great, but I don't have $35 because the cannonball, I saw what the cannonball was worth online, and that's $35 instead of the $20 standard. And he just went like this, we're pirates, my lad. You don't have to worry about a thing with that. You'll come with me, and I'll say you're with me for the night. And then you can do whatever you like. Bitchin'. Obviously, I didn't have a lot to drink, if anything. I didn't have enough to become buzzed or inebriated, but my dad, he was like, free booze? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. So instead of being there from like 11 to 4 or 5, I was out there until at 9 o'clock at night, and I was like, I said I was gonna stream this tonight. I gotta go.
Home is where your
I need to
couch
leave.
and your Wi-Fi.
Although I don't regret it. Again, it was fun. I got to meet a lot of other people who were also like, you know, interested in costumes and stuff. And I even got some ideas for some costumes. And like, I mean, some of these people, like both male and female, like they were, my God, their costumes were amazing. Like straight up, it's like I looked at half these people, I'm like, y'all need to go to like a convention or something, because some of these costumes, you'd win easily. Just say you're a World of Warcraft character or a The Witcher character or something, they believe you, you'd win. Oh, speaking of which, I know it's not actually him because it's not real, but the dude who dressed up as him was amazing. With the Pirate King and Queen, there was fucking Geralt of Rivaria from The Witcher. I was like, what is that? Wait a minute, wait. Are we about to see some fuck shit happening? We about to have some like dudes dressed up as like ghouls or something come out? What's happening? And nah, he was just big chillin'. Had the outfit, had the leather chain vest thing, the 2 swords, one of silver, one of metal. I'm pretty sure the other one was not made of silver because that would make it ludicrously expensive. But Yeah, he even had the beard and the hair to go with it, and the contact lenses to make it look like his eyes were Witcher themed. I was like, that's fucking dedication to the craft right there. Like, I just looked at myself and I'm like, man, I'm underdressed as fuck, man. But as I keep going to the gym and stuff, I swear I'm gonna next time the fair rolls around, which is in October, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna shed some pounds. I'm gonna lift some weights, and I'm gonna look the part. I promise you that, because I saw half these people there, good-looking people too, and I'm just like, man, I'm glad I went out in costume. But I'm just like, I am so, like, compared to everyone else, I really am a peasant. Well, anyway, speaking of rags and peasantry and stuff like that, today we are going to be not playing Onigiri today. I do apologize that the stream tag says that we're playing Onigiri. We're not. Like I said, I kind of got a lot of sun yesterday, and when I get sunburned, I am just drained. I just feel like I don't have the energy to just waste an hour and a half of stream to play Onigiri. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to be reacting to Nerbit again. But this time, we're going to be reacting to one of his other games. See, the thing is, because I went to the Renaissance Fair, I was thinking to myself, I would like to actually watch some Renaissance-esque stuff. I don't want to watch another Oblivion Let's Play, and I really don't want to watch a Skyrim Let's Play. But you know what we haven't reacted to here? Something Dark Soulsy. And it just so happens Nerbit has a challenge video for Dark Souls called Can You Beat Dark Souls with Only the Club? Now, I've played Dark Souls. I am not the biggest fan of Dark Souls. I play video games to have fun. I don't play video games to hate myself. And I know a lot of people will come up to woodwork and say, whoa, what are you talking about? Dark Souls is fun. It's fun when your character is actually how you want them to be. But I feel like every time I play Dark Souls, unless you're playing a very specific way, you don't get far in the game. And the two characters I'll generally play as in Dark Souls is the Knight or the Pyromancer. And yeah, I can tell you right now with absolute certainty, those are the wrong choices, because every time I play as them, I'll get to the Capra, whatever. A certain demon or a certain Hydra, and I'll just die. And I'm just finally like, you know what? Fuck this shit, and fuck your couch. And I just stop playing. And I know, it's, you know, the idea is that you have to die to learn what to do next, and that's fine. But it's the same mentality of, like, when I play Genshin Impact, or Honkai Star Royal, or Zelda Zone Zero. I don't play a game to learn how to do something better. I play a game to have fun and learn while I do it. You know what I mean? Like, in normal situations, you would think, oh, the Spear and the Hellberg in Dark Souls would actually be a great idea, because A, it's a pole arm, so, you know, you can actually use it with one hand or both hands, and and there's a better reach, and B, some pole arms actually have a status debuffs. But in Dark Souls, in my opinion, or rather in my experience, if you get a spear, congratulations, you played yourself. Did you get a sword? Congratulations, you played yourself. Like, there's certain ways that you have to play in order to get far, and I feel like that's wrong. You know what I mean? So unless you are absolutely cracked at Dark Souls, which I'm not, or you're absolutely lucky, which I'm not, you don't get far in Dark Souls. So I'm just like, Nah, I'm not interested then. I know it's a bit of a whack way of thinking of it, but like, I dropped Dark Souls once. Like, I picked up Dark Souls, I got all the way to the Hydra in the forest, and I was done. I kept getting killed. I said, fuck this game. So yeah, we're gonna watch Nerbit react to playing Dark Souls while he's trying to beat it with just the club. And I saw that, and I'm thinking to myself, there's no way he did this legitimately. There's no way. But I've seen him do weirder, so let's go ahead. Let's hit the pause button on the background music. And let's get to let's get to the show. It's gonna be about 40 minutes long, I know that, and I think that's just perfect. Because like I said, I didn't really want to do a long stream today. So instead we're just gonna watch him do this, react to it as we go, pause and talk about certain things, and keep going from there. Cool? Cool. And let us get to it.
It's the Dark Souls of Nerbit challenge runs. Nah, but really, I've been wanting to do a Dark Souls video for a while.
What the fuck?
Else, it gives me an excuse to play the game.
Okay, but why he look like Blue Man Group though?
Weapon-based challenges are kind of the basis of a lot of runs. Just look at my plethora of Fallout videos for reference. Dark Souls has a lot of unique, interesting, and all-around cool-looking weapons, which we will be using none of, as today I channel my inner caveman to find out, can you beat Dark Souls with the club? Now, I could have named the video with a club.
Chat, legitimately, I need to ask, exactly how hard is this challenge? Like, beating the game with the club. Like, is that actually, like, feasible, or is that, like, nightmare-inducing?
But then that would technically open me up to using the Great Club, which is the bonk champion this side of Lordran. No, rather today I want to focus on the basic club that you can start the game with, so long as you choose the best starting class in history. The club hits pretty hard.
The best starting class in history, alright.
A scaling with the strength stat, so my path has been set out before me already, as I will want to focus mainly on strength for maximum damage. I'm not expecting this to be incredibly difficult. This is more so me just dipping my toes into the pools of Souls content. If you would like to see other, much crazier people than I, then I would highly recommend channels like Yamfa, Little Aggie, and The Backlogs. They have cracked these games open and beaten them in some incredibly insane ways that deserve to be seen by everyone. Also, one final note.
Before you ask, I might do a reaction video on those, but I don't know how long they are, and I don't know who these people are, so... You know. I really like only... I only like reacting to people that I actually know about, you know? That way, like, you know, I know what to expect to walk into, you know? Because I don't want to react to certain people and then all of a sudden they say something outlandish like, oh man, if only my grandfather wasn't a Nazi or something like that, you know? Like, I don't know, whoa, you know what I mean? Like why are we doing that? Why are we jumping into that, you know?
Before we get started, there is a link in the description to a video on my second channel, which is a compilation of sorts of all the unedited boss fights from this run, just in case some people are interested in seeing them. Now out of the way, let's begin. Character creation's up first, and of course, it's a deprived class, no armor, can be.
Twitch, calm down, he has a loincloth. He has a loincloth, calm down, it's fine, we don't see nothing.
An issue, but it's the only way to start off with the club, so we take what we can get. I take the Master Key as my gift as well, as why wouldn't you? It's literally the best one, and then I just mash buttons until I get an abomination that I'm happy with. Which is fair, I would probably have drowned this creature, but isolation works fine too. Nothing attacks you up until you run into your first boss, who is one short ladder climb away from your cell. As of right now, we have no weapons, so fighting is not an option. Well, it is in the normal playthrough if you want to get the Great Hammer, but you know what I mean. We grab a few planks hastily glued together and pretend it's a shield, just long enough to grab our club, which is conveniently just lying in the middle of this corridor. As you might expect, the planks in my left hand don't make that good of a shield, so I mainly just choose to two-hand my club whenever possible. Two-handing a weapon makes it slower, naturally, but it also inflicts 50% more damage as opposed to when it is one-handed. So in a situation like this, it's usually best to take the trap.
Bonk.
Honestly, I thought the slow speed of the club swing was going to be
Oh.
but really, it's the fact that it has...
Okay, so like I said, I've played this game before, and normally I either play as a Pyromancer or a Knight. That club did that much damage off of a dive attack. Damn. Maybe I should have been doing clubbing.
has no real fluid combo strength. It's pretty much only the one wind up and smack, which works. I mean, just look at how fast it messes up the Asylum Demon after I Mario jump onto its head.
Yeah, no shit, what the fuck?
I choose to become a bird and be taken away to Firelink Shrine. With the Master Key in hand, I actually have a few options of where to head now. But to be a little boring and vanilla,
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say right now too, I actually did have the Master Key on one of the playthroughs. That's how I got to the Hydra as quickly as I did. Don't take the Master Key right off the gate, because there are parts of the game you're not ready for, unless you play this game a lot.
I just head on up the intended path to the Undead Burg. The Hollow Soldiers can mostly succumb to death with one well-placed two-handed clash, so no problems here. For what it's worth, I do try to take out at least every enemy once. Figured it makes it more interesting than most of the footage just being me hightailing into the next Silent Hill wall. Plus, through random drops, it will actually give me the opportunity to get some armor. The breeze between my knees was getting old, not that this crotch bush is much better, but it gets done for now. I also grabbed the other wooden shield. Someone actually took the time to construct this one properly, so I don't get splinters every time I block a shot. There's a merchant nearby, which I could trade the life force of my enemies for some clothes, but none of it is aesthetically pleasing to me, so I just murder him and take his keys, along with his weeb sword. I spent a little time here running around and getting some of the random items that were around the area, and even managed to get my first
weeb sword
death, as I decided to use my...
Wait, was that a viable choice?
While he was practicing being
oh, fuck off. I don't care.
Next go, and I just...
Is that an actual viable strat? You could actually, like, kill the shopkeep and, like, take his sword? Is that a thing you could actually do? And why would you want to do that? Because wouldn't that, like, kind of fuck up with, like... Because, like... I mean, I know that buying and selling stuff isn't all that important in Dark Souls. I rarely used it. But I feel like it's important enough to where maybe you should, like, not do that. I don't know. Let me know, guys.
Bust his brains against the nearby wall, followed by his close friends. There's also a Black Knight here who proves much more of a challenge.
I am the Black Knight.
He can prove difficult if you're new.
Best pinball game ever.
Circling their shield arm and fishing for backstabs, they fall like anything else. If I was more competent, I could just parry him to death. But despite being someone who gets a massive kick out of parrying in games like Bloodborne and Sekiro, I rarely use the mechanic in Dark Souls outside of two scenarios, both of which you will see in this run, so yay for that. The Knight also dropped a chunk, which will come in very handy later when we get to really upgrading our weapon. We bring back the Mario briefly to avoid some flaming barrels, get some more chunks thanks to good luck, and then it's on to boss number 2. You can already tell he's going to be a pushover.
I will say that I feel like the only time I ever actually liked to fight the Dark Knight is that when I got his sword and shield out when he dropped it. I couldn't use the sword because my strength and dex was not high enough was it Constitution? Regardless, two stats weren't high enough to actually properly utilize it, but the shield on the other hand, oh, I used that maliciously.
By the fact that he shares the boss music with the Asylum Demon. And just like Mr. Tutorial, we can suck away half of the bull's health by diving on his head as well. Granted, I also used some pine resin to electrify my club for a little extra oomph. Really didn't need to, mind you.
Thunderstick!
It was kind of overkill. Fun, though. Afterwards, we meet my man crush, agree to take his soap, and spread it throughout the kingdom. I then immediately get roasted by a dragon because I didn't run fast enough. Fortunately, he isn't spitting the hot fire just yet, as this does barely
the hot fire,
allowing me to run down the stairs and set up a ladder shortcut to our old bonfire. Now, we could run underneath the bridge to safely emerge on the other side, but I want that bonfire under the Drake. Attempting to fight him right now, while possible, would probably just result in my death, so I just wait
you can do that?
And then run right past him while he's distracted. After doing so, I rested the bonfire, and then he flies away. I figure getting as many chunks now will cut down on potential grinding later, So I head on up to the nearby tower to lead another Black Knight to his inevitable doom. I could fight him up there, it's true, but I know for a fact I would fall down the stairs like an idiot and get killed for it. So I wish to save myself at least a little bit of embarrassment today. Just like his friend before him, backstab fishing is indeed his weakness, and works like a charm, getting me one more chunky boy.
Wow.
Speaking of chunks, there's a boar in the very next area. The plan was to leave him for now, so I could just run this route up and over the top of this, and then dive in past the hollow before they can close the gate. This way I don't have to go the slightly longer route through the underground area with the Pinkman. Well, I get through, watch the soldier close the gate, and then after a battle with 3 of them that really shouldn't have been as difficult as it was, I managed to take them out, and then open the gate for future use. For some reason, I was under the impression the boar would not run past the gate, but that was in fact not true, and now I had to deal with whether to or not. It's alright, simply sprinting past him up to a higher part of the structure would be easy and would be allowing me to take the structure and fire. I could have done another plunge attack like the last 2 bosses, but this way is a lot more interesting. I took a moment to go around the nearby church and take out all of the enemies, mainly the Boulder Knights, in the hopes that one of them would drop some normal Titanite shards, but sadly that was not the case. I could grind for them, that is an option, yes, or I could spend my time wisely and just purchase the last ones I need from Andre the Blacksmith. With enough materials,
Andre's that dude though.
His current maximum potential, that being +5, and get to work putting it to use. I am more than a match for the next major boss, that being the Gargoyles, but you see, when I play Dark Souls, I try to do as much as I physically can before taking out most of the bosses. What that entails for now is me beating up the nearby Titanite demon, followed by schooling another Black Knight, as well as grabbing the Grass Crest Shield. I'm not exactly planning to block a lot, I'll either just tank it or roll through it. So the Grass Crest Shield is really the best choice for me, as even if it's on my back while I'm two-handing with the club, I still get its passive buff, which increases my stamina regen.
Wait, no shit.
Regen comes into play right away as I take on the
What is that?
boss, that being the Moonlight Butterfly. Probably the worst boss in the game if you decided that you have some sort of vendetta against using ranged weapons, as it spends most of the fight trying its best to annoy melee-focused builds. I have 10 Estus flasks at the ready, so I have plenty of healing to go around.
How do you get 10 Estus flasks? Normally I have 3. Or is it 5? I don't remember.
This then puts it in battering range, and we take full advantage of that. I can lower its health to a quarter, but don't output enough damage to get him in the 1 cycle. Not that it matters, I just go back to Limp Biscuiting my way around the bridge until it's time to land the last few strikes and win the fight. That's about all.
Keep rolling.
To the church, slay the demoted Demon Souls boss that's now a standard enemy, and make my way to the Gargoyles. Except wait, let's not pretend like I'm going to forget about Lautrec. This is a Dark Souls 1 playthrough after all. Everyone knows you do not play Dark Souls 1 and not murder the hell out of Lautrec for his jewelry. Sure, the red will break if I take it off, but it also increases my equip load, health, and stamina, so why would I ever want to do that in the first place? With that, I'm about as overprepared as possible to fight the Gargoyles. Well, actually, it's possible to get a +15 weapon before them, but that's besides the point. Anyway,
Wait, where? When? How?
Perfected the fight. Sure, I nearly walked right off the roof near the beginning, but I didn't, and therefore I would call that pretty flawless. The next boss, on the other hand...
Okay, if there's one...
No, not the Capra Demon! Shut up!
Pain.
Yeah, I know.
Mostly. He messed me up on my first attempt, mainly my fault.
Hold on, go back to that.
Next boss, on the other hand...
Pain.
Yeah, no shit. Capra Demon sucked. I couldn't beat him. It's because of those bitch dogs right there.
I am kidding. Mostly. He messed me up on my first attempt, mainly my fault. I normally lure the dogs up to this part of the stairs like everybody else, but in the ensuing chaos, smashed my club into the wall, and then fell down and got promptly bullied for it. Second attempt, I just took things a lot slower and made sure to hold my ground when I was at the top of the stairs. Eventually, this caused the dogs to fall down below with the Capra Demon, and allowing me to take out both the dogs and damage the boss with a well-placed plunge.
Nice.
From there followed a few more stupid blunders due to mistimed rolls, but fortunately not enough failure to kick me back to the bonfire, and thankfully I was able to come out on top this time. Due to having the Master Key, the depths are entirely optional as I don't need to kill the dragon for the key to Blighttown. That said, I am planning to kill all the bosses, so I may as well. Plus, I wanted to take out the butcher and her dog so I could safely...
Chad, how many bosses are there? Again, never beaten Dark Souls, so I don't know how many bosses are there, but how many bosses are there? Because he said he's going to do all the bosses, no, optional or no, so I'm assuming that's a lot of bosses, right? Is that accurate?
to grab the large ember in the nearby chest. Once I take this back to the blacksmith, I'll have access to plus 10 weapons, assuming I can find enough pieces of large titanite. Before dealing with all of that, there's still the matter of the gaping dragon, and before that still is King Rat. He may be the giant rat that makes all of the rules, but not one of them was making sure he was well protected from the overly aggressive Fred Flintstone wannabe with the Yabba Dabba Dunk. I am not an idiot most of the time. I made sure to deal with the rat children and their babysitter, as he could potentially buff the dragon during the coming fight and make things just a little bit more difficult.
Wait,
Honestly,
seriously?
I probably should have let him, seeing how the gaping dragon is the poster boy for incredible design but underwhelming boss. He can do a lot of damage, sure, but he is also relatively slow and has a habit of just hanging around after most of his attacks, like he is awaiting someone's approval before going again. It is fun to cut off his tail though, as it hinders him further, plus it looks quite funny when he attempts to whack you with his stump. The one thing he definitely has going for him, compared to the other bosses we've already killed anyway, is he has a lot more health and better defenses. This is probably because you can actually do some bonus damage to him if you manage to hit his tiny adorable little head that sits above the terrifying ribcage monster. This is possible with a melee build, as he will occasionally slam said ribcage into the ground as he gets ready to charge. When this happens, it's pretty easy to walk up and get a few swings into his head before letting you back off, assuming you don't wish to be pancaked. A couple of minutes of booping his snoot and clapping his ass, and the fight is won, and we are moving on before I even questioned why I wrote that sentence like that.
Yeah.
Right, I had another run-in with the butcher, the same one. There are two of them down here. I was lucky enough that this one dropped the sack headpiece for me to wear though. It's not a good piece of protection by any means, but I think it goes well with our current look, so it stays for now. Thanks to one of the back to Firelink,
You look goofy.
again heading down to the city, formerly known as Lagtown. I had to make most of the journey twice, as I was bested on my first attempt due to a mix of bad toxic damage and these little fire dogs who I always underestimate, as I've never understood why they hit as hard as they do. Turns out the toxic,
Because they're fire dogs. They're dogs with fire.
Position myself to lure the dogs out to me one at a time, and then take them out so I could grab the Firekeeper's soul that they're guarding. For the handful of you who have never played the game, this is an item that will either give me 5 humanity, which can do many things, or upgrade the healing factor of my Estus flasks. The latter being the substantially better choice. Once I make it to the swamp floor, I want to die, but that's an inevitability.
Real talk, what exactly does humanity do except for make you not look like a ghoul? Like, is there actually a point behind them?
In this game, so for now I just start collecting all the large titanite that I can find. For good measure, I even go over and take out all the leeches in this corner of the map, as they have a chance to drop some. In short, I was able to get a total of 6 pieces.
It's a leech, it's a leech, it's a leech, it's a leech, it's a leech.
But we can change that in a bit, as Sense Fortress is coming up soon, and there will be more than enough materials there. On my way to Quelaag, I of course run into Maneater Mildred. There can be only one sack-wearing psychopath in these sewers, and it sure as hell won't be her. I'm a spider now, and
Oh.
my favorite boss, and I'm sure you can hazard 2 guesses as to why. Probably the first properly tough fight you will come across, if I'm being honest.
Twitch, calm down.
Every boss,
It was censored. Calm down.
Easy enough to beat. All you have to do is watch out for her AoE move, which is highly telegraphed by our human body, lying down like so. The fight was going well, I was playing very cautiously and only throwing out attacks when I knew they would land. It felt like it was going to be a very clean victory. That was until she set up a rather sneaky combo by firing her lava spit right behind me and then following it up with her explosion, meaning when I tried to move backwards, I was stuck.
Wow!
Even if I hadn't stepped in the fire, the AoE probably would have one-shot me anyway. No matter, on attempt number 2, I just make use of the rather large arena to lure her to areas that aren't covered in her vomit, so that I can attack her safely without the worry of getting trapped again. Sure enough, this works, and after a few clubs to her sides, she goes down, and I can ring the second bell and open up the next area of the main quest. However, before doing that, I head deeper into the earth, re-emerge in hell, and go to take out Ceaseless Discharge. He's kind of a
Re-emerge in hell, that's great, isn't it?
Fighting you if you have a ranged weapon to have a somewhat normal fight. Or you can run past the demon, steal his sister's clothes, which will naturally piss him off, at which point you can lead him back to the fog gate, causing him to jump over and hang onto the ledge, and allowing you to casually push him off for perhaps the easiest boss in the series. This removes the lava down below, allowing access to a portion of the demon ruins.
Google Fiber has arrived.
God damn it.
Tired of confusing pricing, added equipment fees, and slow gigabit internet? With Google
Shane, what's
Fiber,
going on, bud? How's it going?
equipment is included with no hidden fees.
Where the
and
fuck's my mouse?
As fast as your downloads. Discover more at fiber.google.com.
There it is. Go away.
But we can't do much here until later, so for now...
How you doing, Shade? How's it been? You hear me okay?
Where, after getting a brief glimpse of my sleep paralysis demon, we returned to Andre and managed to get our club to +9.
Jesus Christ.
But with a +9 weapon, I can reliably tackle a bunch of other areas right now, so let's go do that. First of all, I do some parkour to make it back to the asylum.
Parkour!
The demon from before may be gone, but underneath his arena lies a carbon copy of him called the Stray Demon. The major difference is the Stray Demon, as you might expect, does more damage, has more health, and as an added bonus, a bunch of his attacks now have an AoE blast, rather similar to Quelaag. Everyone had that
That's annoying.
When they first play a Souls game that gave them the absolute worst time imaginable. Well, back
Yeah, it sounds like a pain in the ass.
13, that was the Stray Demon for me for some
I'll do
reason.
well, Shade. Thank you so much for asking.
I could just never manage to avoid the area of effect attacks. Granted, it has been a decade now since my first run through of Dark Souls, so I have learned how to deal with it.
And again, this actually makes me question, because like, he's doing this for the club. Granted, it's a +9 club, but it's still a club. It's still a stick. So wouldn't like long-range weapons be a better idea here? Like a spear or something like that? But then again, I guess I can't talk shit, because when I played the game, I only really used spears or halberds and stuff like that. And it didn't get me far at all. So maybe there's a strat. I don't know. And before anyone says, maybe you're just dog shit at the game. Oh, I know I am. That's why I stopped playing it.
Them and quickly get out of the way when he's winding up one of his kill moves. One thing I didn't know about was that apparently you can cheese him into doing the same butt slam attack over and over again by doing a jump attack followed by a regular swing once he lands. I just did this because the jumping attack is the standard heavy swing with a club, and I figured it would be the fastest way to rack up the damage. I had absolutely no idea that it would entirely break his AI. I've never really watched 100% Dark Souls speedruns where they come and fight the Stray Demon. Is this a commonly used tactic? Seriously, if anybody knows, leave a comment. I am genuinely curious. Anywho, a few more layers of cheese.
Shit, this is a common tactic.
And best of all, his demise brings with it a Titanite slab. This is the final material you need to get a weapon from +14 to +15.
Homeward Bone.
Words, a weapon's upgrade path, so it will be handy to have. The two other items I'm here for is the Peculiar Doll in my old cell, as it allows me to fight another boss later, and the Rusted Iron Ring, which allows us to walk normally in uneven terrain such as high water and swamps. In fact, we used the ring right away to make the fight with the Hydra a lot easier. Not much to say about the Hydra.
So you mean to tell me that I had to get that ring first before I even had a passable chance with the Hydra? Fuck this game, dude. Getting to the Hydra alone was a pain in the ass. She shot water buckets at you or some shit. But now you're telling me I had to get a whole ass ring just to make this part of the fight somewhat easier? Nah, that's bullshit. I don't like that.
Just find a safe spot to put up your shield, wait for it to attack, and then batter in its multiple heads until either you deplete its health bar or take out all of the heads.
There's Havel. What's the ring do?
We can recreate the best scene from MGS3 and head into a deeper section of the forest that leads into another mandatory boss fight. Granted, it's one we don't have to actually fight until much later.
Oh, no, I know about this fight though.
I figured we could go down the path of fighting the bosses as if I was planning to join the Dark Wraiths. There is a faster and safer way to reach Sif by just paying the blacksmith 20,000 souls for the crest of Artorias, which opens a door back at the beginning of the forest, but you see, I am a cheapskate, and those souls are mine. It's a cool, ridiculous boss.
Do you know the U.S. solar companies?
What the fuck?
Secret? It turns out that if you live in Iowa, they have to give you solar panels for...
Shut up.
It's a shame that she spends most of the fight hopping away from you, or at least that's what happened in my case. I don't have a lot of armor equipped, still wanting to keep my equip load low enough for fast rolling at least for now. So if she lands a good few hits on me, she will take me down rather quick. Fortunately, she falls victim to the oh-so-reliable strategy of just planting yourself firmly underneath the boss and hacking away at them whenever they're standing still. Sure, she will jump away, but then I just wait for an opening and rinse and repeat. Sif has one final trick up her sleeve, to be fair, and it is to make you feel like a bad person, as once her health is low enough, she begins limping around the arena and reminds you of beating up a dog. Nothing can be done to finish her off and live with our guilty.
That's probably another reason why I couldn't play the game full through. I can't do that to the dog, man. And I know the backstory too. Like Sif's not fighting you because he hates you or he wants to eat you. Sif's fighting you because he knows that if you live, you're going to go on to take on fucking what's his name? Oh no, what the hell is his name? The final boss. What the hell is his name? Shit. Shay, what's the final boss's name of Dark Souls? The Lord of Cinder, I know that. That's, yeah. Oh, what the fuck's his name? He has one of the best, also most depressing theme in the entire game. Oh, you never played? Never mind. Don't play it, Shade. Save your psyche. 1 second. I'm gonna find this out right now. Dark Souls, Soul of Cinder. No, that's not, no. Yeah, who's the Lord of Cinder again? 1 second. Lord of Cinder. Yeah, no shit. Oh, fuck. Final boss, Dark Souls. Gwyn! That's what his fucking name is. Yeah, Sif isn't fighting you because he hates you or he wants to eat you. He's fighting you because, yes, he knows that you have to beat Gwyn to kind of, like, you know, light the fires of the bonfire. But he doesn't want you to fight him because that means that he'll die. And Sif's like, no, that's my master. I don't want you to do that. But I'll be saving him. Yeah, but no. Like, genuinely will make you feel bad if you fight him. Like, that's, I can't abide by that. I'm not, like, I'm a guy who loves power fantasy, but that's a fantasy I don't want to live in where I have to kill everyone's best friend just to get to the old man, you know?
Conscience. For all of 2 minutes before we get the Covenant of Artorias and the Hornet Ring, 2 rings that will be very handy for different reasons. Before using the Covenant Ring, I head off to Sen's Fortress to quickly blitz past all of it. Once you've done this enough times, you know how to essentially speedrun it.
Nope.
Beat up the snakes, use your remaining brain cells to avoid the easy-to-dodge blades, have a sneak roll free a sorcerer you won't use, and then jump across this
What the fuck?
to find not only a key for a shortcut to skip the death traps on a return visit, but a merchant who will sell you large titanite if you didn't manage to find enough allowing you to get your weapon to plus 10.
Dude, bitchin'.
So our damage is far above what we probably should have for this section. But to make sure our defenses don't let us down, I return to the forest once again to grab the stone armor set and to complete our combat flintstone persona.
Stone armor.
The plus 10 club combined, I am ready.
Nah, but real talk. Can we talk about how useless that sounds? Fucking stone armor. Stone armor. That's right up there with wood armor. Yeah, let's just take this giant slab of stone from the ground, put it onto a rope, and put it on my body. Absolutely nothing could go wrong with this.
Ready to descend into New Londo. The ghosts are easy one-shots and don't do a ton of damage. The only real issue is when they gang up on you, but that's what the stone set is for. Not only does it provide a much welcome defense bonus, but it increases my poison enough so that I'm rarely staggered, even when being attacked by multiple enemies.
Nice.
Heavy attacks take out the Red Menace, allowing me to steal his keys and steal the town's water supply.
What the?
Underneath their noses. I am now allowed to run around the soggy corpse floor of New Londo, which brings with it its own challenges, mainly the Dark Wraiths. I've always thought of the Dark Wraiths like faster Black Knights, by which I mean the same tactic of circling them and fishing for backstabs works like a charm. Killing them is also advised, as they will occasionally drop the last few chunks that I need, as luck was on my side today with the Black Knight and Crystal Lizard drops. The
Nice.
Dark Wraiths still shouldn't be taken lightly, however. While coming here is now an option, and to an extent advised, the Dark Wraiths are still some of the hardest hitting normal enemies, and as such, attempting to fight 2 of them at once, even in my stone suit, proves to be a little bit too much. If I had a faster weapon, this probably wouldn't be an issue, but the long wind-up of the club, coupled with its short range, presents problems when attempting to engage multiple foes at the same time. It's okay, as on the next try, things go much worse.
I'm Greg. I'm Gabby, and we're the founders of Magic Spoon. We grew up loving cereal. We quickly realized
On the third,
I tried Magic Spoon, but
as I very carefully fight them one at a time, like
I mean, I like cereal too, and I would actually try out Magic Spoon too, but it's like, I don't know, you know? I never been one to trust online personalities with products and stuff.
should have from the beginning. Better yet, just down here is where we can find the very large ember, allowing us access to plus 15 weapons. Something that we really don't need until the last stretch of the game, but to hell with it, I see no reason in purposely not using it after I deal with the 4 kings. Speaking of, they are the next boss, and the real reason why I got the stone set. Dodging the 4 kings attacks, while viable, it honestly just serves to waste valuable slashing time. And time is the one thing you don't want to waste during the fight, as after a set amount of time passes, more kings start to spawn, and I don't need to repeat myself about why fighting multiple enemies is bad, let alone multiple bosses. The stone set allows me to poise right through everything they throw at me without a care. Considering I have to wear the Covenant of Artorias to survive down here, I don't have the ability to fast roll my armor, so rolling wouldn't be advised at all. All I need to do is lay on the pain as fast as possible and heal whenever I see an opening. I end up cutting it very close as I'm only down to my last couple of Estus flasks whenever I manage to land the killing blow. Obviously, to really secure the victory, I could have just got the Rite of Kindling and came in here with 20 Estus flasks, but that always feels like a bit too much, you know? I say that feels like a lot, but yet here I am getting my plus 15 weapon and immediately using it on one of the easiest bosses of the run.
Fucking plus 15.
Be a tanky boy, that is assuming you don't overcompensate like we are. Due to the damage output,
whoa, what the fuck?
Which from there, only a few more swings causes him to fall over, and due to being on the bridge, he tumbles right off the side and plummets to his doom like a Looney Tunes skit. Fun fact,
wait, what?
This is the only time I've actually made him fall off the side. I've watched it be done many times, but never actually done it myself. So that's fun.
Ain't that some fuck?
Monsters carry me over the nearby wall, we get the E3 trailer shot, and now it's time to explore the city. Probably comes as no surprise, but seeing how we now have a max upgraded weapon and some great armor to boot, the pace of the run is about to pick up immensely. The gargoyles, having not learned their lesson the first time, attempt to upstage me yet again, and you can imagine how that panned out. The real scary part of the city is the fact that we are forced to tightrope walk across the rafters while overly aggressive art connoisseurs throw knives at me. They aren't difficult to deal with.
Overly aggressive art connoisseurs.
Present. Making it past them, we can crank the lift down 2 notches to see exactly what they're protecting. The answer? Their bootleg copy of Mario 64. A short and sweet little jaunt that gives everyone tumors and brings back another boss from Demon Souls to an extent. None of that matters as I'm here to murder this already half-dead dragon. Like a surprising number of creatures in the Soul series, the dragon has practiced the ancient art of throwing up on his opponent to demoralize them into an early grave. Thankfully, that's about all he can do as I whack away at his claws, which I can only imagine feels similar to constantly stubbing your toe. In other words, I am sure death would be a much better alternative.
Nah.
Normally, we would need to go into the underground section with the bones to pull some levers in order to open the door that leads to our way out and the next optional boss. However, if I just mosey my way on over to the back end carcass of the dragon we just killed and perform a jumping heavy attack, it will miraculously spring to life, allowing us to pass through its legs and onto the fog gate.
What?
I assume this is a glitch. I've been doing it since my second playthrough, but it was
what the fuck?
Patched even on the remastered version from 2018, so I guess we can just assume it's a feature. Priscilla the crossbreed is not hostile, but I said all bosses, and I meant all bosses. Her gimmick is that she turns invisible when you start the fight, and you have to track her footprints via the snow. Unfortunately for her, I've seen The Lord of the Rings many times, so I just channel my inner Gollum and find her in no time and begin to lay the smackdown.
My inner Gollum.
Count yourself lucky that I didn't bite her finger off. Exiting the course, we are back at the painting and can now proceed on to Anor Londo proper. If you were expecting me to rage at the 2 Silver Knight archers, I am afraid you'll be left disappointed. This is where I use the parry for the first of the aforementioned 2 times as I sprint right up to the one on the right.
Hey, Pumpkin Vilvy!
Myself towards him will cause him to eventually take out his sword, which I can then easily parry. Swinging away at him could work, but knowing my luck, the small step I take when arming the club would send me straight down to the streets below. Something I have not mentioned as of yet is that my strength is now at 40, and I am beginning to funnel the rest of my levels into endurance until it reaches the same number, and then I shall focus on health. They are the only stats that matter for this run, and seeing how strength kind of soft caps around 40, and endurance stops giving you stamina at 40, health is the only other skill that seemed worthwhile. I figured I should mention this now so you can all understand why I'm doing as much damage as I am to Ornstein and Smo. The problem with fighting multiple enemies honestly doesn't really come into play during their boss fight. Yes, they will still attack you at the same time, which can be very annoying, but unlike say 2 very quick Dark Wraiths carving me up at once, one of them is very quick, and the other big boy is incredibly slow, which will naturally allow some extra breathing before I get comboed to death. That's not even mentioning the best part of this fight, that of course being
The pillars.
With these beauties, you can easily separate the two, allowing you to focus on whittling down Ornstein to proceed to phase 2. I mean, yeah, you could take on Smough first, but then you don't get his armor, and why would you ever want to do that to yourself? Super Saiyan Smough isn't much to write home about either.
Super Saiyan Smough!
An improved Thundercrack, it's about the same. Just roll away from the AoE and then try and cuddle in close when he swings his weapon to get in your hits. Before long, the fight is won, and we get the grand prize of the Lord Vessel, and nothing else. The Lord Vessel will let us teleport to some previously visited bonfires.
What does that mean?
Backtracking, but it also opens up the way to the last 3 major bosses. For those of you wondering why I haven't went to fight Gwendolyn yet, well, I cannot open the way to his boss arena by way of destroying the Guinevere illusion, as I cannot reach her with the club, and I don't feel like using bombs or throwing knives, as to me they are weapons and are against the rules. So if I want to kill Gwendolyn, I will need to get the Darkmoon Seance Ring, which is located in the catacombs back beneath Firelink Shrine. We will circle back to this thought later. For now, we warp back.
You can warp? What the fuck?
And proceed down into the old lava pits, where I get making an absolute joke of a nearby Capper Demon. The first real boss here is the Demon Fire Sage, which is yet another reskin of the Asylum Demon. With that in mind, I tried the jumping attack cheese that I accidentally did on the Straight Demon, and sure enough, it breaks him right away and completely trivializes the fight, allowing
what the fuck?
Victory.
That's wild.
Some dungeon entrances in top.
What the fuck?
Super sneaky. At Sentry Tower, most players just
no
chest and leave.
No.
I really want a new Mortal Kombat game so badly. Sorry, anyway, next up is the Zombie Demon. In a pseudo boss rush style, he is literally right next door to the Fire Sage, without anything in between. First things first, you want to lure the Centipede somewhere where you can actually fight him, seeing how the lava will kill you within seconds without the ring that he drops. The area just to the right of the fog gate is probably the best, so I just stand there with my shield up and wait for him to approach. Once he is on solid, non-flammable ground, the fight is basically won. Just stand underneath him like you would with any other big boss, swinging back and forth between his legs. Which apparently is easier said than done, because the sheer number of times my club just missed him during this encounter was borderline impressive. When the attacks the Centipede's health bar crumbles, and I can take his special ring that allows me to Jesus walk my way across the lava in the Lost Izalith.
The fuck?
It's probably the most inconsequential area in the entire game, with the literal worst boss. Before that,
you know what I'll never understand about video games? Like most video games have like a cap when it comes to like you equipping their rings, right? Every single game that I've played, you can only equip 2 rings. Why? You have 8 fingers, 1 on each hand on finger, you know? So that's 8 rings you should be able to equip. And theoretically, you can also equip sub-rings onto your thumb. So that should be 10 rings you should be able to equip, no problem. And if you want to be extremely technical, you can also put like smaller rings on like the middle part of your fingers, you know? So technically that means you can actually theoretically wear up to 18 rings. Like, why is that not a thing in games? Like, that was actually a concern that I had when I was playing Skyrim, where I could have like 2 badass rings, but then the game's like, yeah, no, but you can only wear 2 of them. You can't wear any other rings then. The fuck? What do you mean? I have literally 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, so that's 10 places I can put the ring. Yeah, but that wouldn't be really fair. What the fuck do you mean fair? I ain't playing this game to be fair. I'm playing this game to be overpowered as fuck. What you mean?
that though, I make sure to head down this optional path to dispose of some sunlight maggots, as they will drop the helmet of the same name, which will make my life so much easier in the catacombs in just a moment. But first, we gotta go back to the Bed of Chaos.
The what?
The platformer boss. Kinda. Sorta. Okay, not really, but I wouldn't call it a puzzle boss, so I don't know. All I do know is that it's bullshit, and I can't stand it. I also may have kinda used a basic cheese strap for this fight, by which I mean I walk over and destroy one of its pods, and then immediately reload the game to respawn outside the gate, and then go back in, head over to the second pod, and rinse and repeat. Seeing how the pods don't come back after you take them out, this is the only fight where something like this works. After the pods are down, I can walk in and carefully roll onto this lower branch, and once you do, it's game over for the Bed of Chaos, as you can quickly advance to the bug inside and squish it with a single swing. Like any time I use a big
That's
beast
wild.
like this, I promise this will be the only time I use it in a Dark Souls run. If I do any more, I will fight it the proper way, or at least not this way. One more Lord Soul down, 2 to go, and they will probably be just as fast. I decided to go for the Catacombs next. Nita was probably the easiest of the lords, plus I don't like to run the Seath boss arena, so the longer I can put that one off, the better. Bone men are normally weak to club-like weapons, so it should come as no surprise that I am absolutely dominating my way through the Catacombs right now, and not much is able to stand in my way.
I mean,
Except the
yeah.
Black Knight I forgot about, who pretty much chopped me in half like a piece of firewood. No
Wow.
matter when I make it back to him, one backstab followed by a heavy is more than enough to put him out of commission. It was around here where I also stopped to do some exploring to grab that.
What the hell is he wearing? He's got like a helmet on his head.
Speaking of bosses, it's time for everyone's favourite, Pinwheel, and he's already dead. Okay, moving on. The main difficulty of the Catacombs is how dark it is. Get it? It's kinda like the caves in Metal Gear Solid 3 if I was to compare it to anything, and me being me, of course I'm going to use Metal Gear. The only difference is that
Metal Gear is a badass game.
will now actually let me see, and it is nowhere near as terrifying. You all may be wondering where Patches is. Don't worry about him, he's fine, I promise. A couple of sticky encounters with the Dogman skeletons and another Black Knight as they seem to be multiplying, and I can get to Nito. Fun fact, if you two-hand your weapon and block, your character spaces their legs out just enough that when they're in the standstill position, that Nito's ranged attack will, for whatever reason, just whiff right in between their legs. After the hassle with the centipede, this feels well earned. So, of course, the big gimmick with Nito is he brings in a bunch of skeletons that continue to respawn, as he is their necromancer, making this a bit of a gank fight. There are 2 ways to circumvent this. First of all, and easiest, is bring a divine weapon, as that will permanently kill the skeletons regardless of what Nito does, or in my case, just stand by the entrance and wait for Nito to approach you. If you stay around the entrance, only 2 skeletons will aggro you right away, and should be easy enough to deal with. It also helps that Nito himself is a huge pushover. His AoE attack could be deadly if you couldn't just block and tank it, plus it also temporarily knocks down his own allies, so it's sometimes more of a help than a hindrance. Anyway, after all that advice, watch me rush Nito anyway, once I realise my club would just ruin his whole day. All that leaves is Seath in the wonderfully fun Duke's archives. Yay!
What?
Well, first we have some loose ends to tie up, that being Gwendolyn, of course. With the Dark Moon ring equipped, he will open the way to his boss room, and you can fight him. I say fight, but it's more like an aggressive game of tag. It's a running simulator really, as he just keeps teleporting back through the room while bombarding you with ranged attacks, be it arrows or magic. To be fair, I am rather cautious of the magic as my resistance to it isn't very high, and it will most definitely mess me up if it manages to land. He is fairly weak in all other regards, so after a few cycles we can finally cross him off the list after he T-poses himself out of existence. Okay, now for the archives. The little blue crystal men running around look no more intimidating than the hollows we fought in the Undead Burg, but don't let them fool you, for whatever reason, these are some of the hardest hitting enemies in the entire run. Not helping matters are the
I mean, yeah, they made a diamond, makes sense.
providing them with damage buffs. The club still does its job and gets me through safely for what it's worth. I just need to be careful about not taking too many hits, lest I want to die immediately. On the topic of death, here's the only forced death in the entire game, outside of using the speedrun trick to skip it. We cannot kill Seath here as he's straight up invincible, so the only option is death.
Have you seen this? It's absolutely insane. Look at the presentation on what's inside this can. All other canned tuna brands should be shaking in their boots.
I don't care, it's tuna.
Well, joke's on him. Way back in Sen's Fortress, I picked up a rare ring of sacrifice just for this occasion, so he doesn't get to take my souls from me or inflict a curse should I be incredibly unlucky. We die and reawaken in the opening of an Elder Scrolls game, and now we need to deal with our snakes and these weird abomination women. They're all easy enough, and to save us all on some time, just know that there are some shenanigans involving rotating Hogwarts-like staircases along with wizards that are—
Yo, what the fuck? That is actually how it works, though. What the hell?
...to the most palm sweat-inducing area of the whole series, in my opinion. The fight with Seath is child's play. It's the run-up to it that is the annoying part. The golems outside will relentlessly chase you if you don't put them out of their misery, which certainly heightens an already stressful situation as you put your faith in your control stick not to drift while you ever so carefully inch yourself across these invisible bridges that have an unspecified width, so hope you don't slip. Why are they invisible? Fuck you, that's why.
Yeah.
I don't even give a damn about the murder clams, just beat them up, it's not that hard. Anyway, now that
Murder clams.
let's get on to the big naked dragon. We started with a small standoff as he seemed very reluctant to approach me, probably considering I'm keeping his immortality crystal and life's work hostage. Well, unfortunately for him, I don't believe in diplomacy today, so I destroy it by rolling right through it in style. While he's having a breakdown, I rush him and start laying on the damage. The thing about Seath the Scaleless is that you may be tempted to circle him, as after all, making it round to his tail and cutting it off gets you the oh so iconic Moonlight Greatsword. Problem is,
Wait, what?
This causes him to rampage, which can inflict a crazy amount of damage and can be rather hard to consistently avoid, especially if he is turning while doing it, or if you get stuck in his other tails or tentacles. Well, we don't need the sword, as it may as well be a paperweight to us, so we can just stick to his front and pummel away to our heart's content. Seath primarily only seems to cycle between two attacks, one for when you're up close and another for when you're at a distance. Knowing this, we can close the gap, get the hits in, and then run away when he does his close range move, bait out the long range, close the gap, and start beating again, and then rinse and repeat. Once more, very sound advice. I just wish I would listen to myself. He doesn't manage to kill me, but for what it's worth, he comes pretty damn close at one point. I am able to heal him afterwards though, and from there only a few more hits, puts down the dragon, and now we can proceed to the final boss. Except that is not the case, as I did say every boss, and we all know by now that if you're playing Dark Souls in current year, you are more than likely doing so via the remaster, meaning the DLC is pre-baked into the game from the get-go. The DLC has 3 main bosses and 1 optional, so let's go over them now and how they went. The first boss, the Sanctuary Guardian, is able to stack on the damage very
That's Griffin.
with a mix of me being bad at dodging his attacks, and me getting poisoned by one of said attacks. Like a fool, I never equipped the purple moss before the start of the fight, so I can't even quickly get rid of it, lest I want to stumble through the menus.
No, wait, it's not Griffin, it's Chimera.
Considering I'm doing the DLCs right before the final fight, I am probably a lot stronger than the game anticipated. Just see how much damage each swing of the club does to the Guardian's health bar. It's pretty good. After he whiffs one of his attacks, I manage to get in behind him and land just enough hits to quickly drain what's left of his life force.
Yeah, stab his balls.
Victorious. The wood section is fairly simple. The stone guardians and aggressive gardeners go down in no less than 3 strikes each. Like usual, my worst enemy here is Poor Judgment and Isaac Newton. Oh my god, guys, it's Bloodborne 60 FPS. I'm not the first person to make this joke, and I sure as hell will not.
Wait, what?
Well, next fight is Artorias, the other most popular boss, and no, it's not because he has decided to leave anything just hanging out. No, it's really just because he's cool. He is an aggressive and fast.
Yeah, Artorias is awesome, man. I had a
game, so it's nice to have something a little different.
I've never got the chance to fight him, but I always like watching this fight.
Is pretty easy to deal with. Or rather, outside of this one stab move, he doesn't do a lot of damage. Much like the 4 Kings, putting on the stone armor set trivializes the fight, as he will find it hard to stagger you, and before he buffs himself up, it's honestly viable to just stand there trading blows with him. Now, for as short as the fight was, it was far from perfect. He still got in a good few hits, mainly because I wasn't fast enough to knock him out of his powering up buff at the beginning of the fight. If I had managed to do so, then this fight would have been a complete joke. That blunder on my part caused me to play the fight as intended. I know, how terrible. That was until the buff wore off, and then I could safely start attacking again. When his health dropped to around a quarter, he rolled away to try and set up the buff once more, but this time I was fast enough and was able to stop it, allowing for a few more hits to win me the fight. Before the next boss, we have a short jaunt through a nearby village and have to deal with more new creatures from the DLC. This time it's these weird bloated looking people. The normal melee ones are simple enough, it's the ones that cast magic that are the real problem, as the new dark magic tears right through you in a matter of seconds. Fortunately, thanks to having the sunlight magnet or skull lantern, we can shine them on this wall here and grab the silver pendant. It is a tool that we can pop at any time to create a small barrier around our character that dispels any and all dark magic that is coming our way.
Nice.
This now nullifies the casters and makes them simple to get past. Okay, so even though this thing here is not a boss, I figured I should mention him anyway, as he has a completely unique design, doesn't respawn, and only shows up here. If you have a weapon that just bounces off him, he can be a problem. However, the club is not one of those weapons, so about 4 hits and the fight is won. Alright, now onto the big bad of the DLC, Manus, and the boss I died the most to in the entire run. First go around, and things actually start off rather well. I made sure to keep some distance between us at all times, so that I could not only roll out of the way of his normal attacks with ease, but be ready to retreat whenever he does his roar, as that means he's about to break out his infamous juggle combo, which is very likely to be a death sentence, as once you're caught in it, there is no escape. I managed to get him down to half with very little issues. Unfortunately for me, even though I had the silver pendant equipped,
wow!
One shot by one of his dark magics. My bad, attempt number 2, and it's pretty much a repeat, except I didn't even get him down to half.
Ads.
It was the magic that killed me once more, but this time I had plenty of time to use the pendant. However, I panic switched off of it once I saw the magic incoming, and wasn't able to get back to it in time and use it before I was killed. If I wasn't freaking out, I probably could have just rolled through most of it. More than likely, still would have taken some damage.
Jesus Christ!
Third time's the charm, as they say, and I played just like I did in the first attempt, only this time I landed fewer hits anytime I had an opportunity to make sure I not only had the stamina to get away, but to give me more than enough time to use the pendant. Sure enough, this works. You don't have to be precise when using the pendant, by the way. You can literally just spam it as soon as you see the magic incoming, as it will deflect all of it without an issue. With his magic mostly out of the picture, all I have to worry about is his melee attacks, and I won't lie, even without my full stone set on, they're not doing a ton of damage, so I wasn't at all worried, outside of the aforementioned combo anyway. After deflecting a bunch of his magic, he was left open, and a power attack followed by a swing, otherwise known as my only true combo, is enough to finally be rid of
My only true combo.
That's the main DLC bosses done, only leaving one more optional boss, that being Calamite, the Black Dragon. Well, thanks to getting the crest key earlier, I can become friends with Hawkeye Go, and after intentionally getting burnt to a crisp in Calamite's boss arena, Go will prove that he is the absolute best bro in the world by making sure that the dragon fights you like a man in even combat. Calamite can seem pretty intimidating the first time you fight him, what with the damage he can output at a moment's notice, but he also, unfortunately for him, falls victim to the same problem as a lot of the other huge bosses in Dark Souls. Firmly planting myself right underneath him and hacking away at his legs is a surefire way to empty his health bar before he knows what's going on. His attacks are also pretty well telegraphed for what it's worth, so you have enough time to dodge into them and get some easy damage. Especially this one where he starts slowly breathing fire in front of him.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Way to bait him into
Smash his neck.
Consistently, congratulations, the fight was won the instant you stepped in through the fog gate. With all this in mind, it's not long before the last optional boss has failed, leaving only the final boss, Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder. And this is where we will be making use of both the Hornet Ring we got from Sif and parrying for the second and final time. I feel it's not news to anyone by now that you can literally just walk into the final boss room and parry him to death with very, very little effort. The Hornet Ring just speeds up the process as it increases the damage of critical attacks like backstabs and parries. I mean, I can do it, and I suck at parrying in Dark Souls. I even suck at it here, as you can see me miss the timing completely multiple times, and yet, when I do land him, it does so much damage and knocks him down for long enough that I can get in some free heals, and then start the process over again, because much like the Stray Demon earlier, doing this seems to lock him into an infinite loop, which he won't stop doing the same 1-2 combo. It takes literally less than 2 minutes with this method to defeat the final boss. I then it's my way to the door for the Dark Lord ending, finishing the game and proving yes, you can indeed beat Dark Souls with the club. God, I love this game so much, and this was a lot of fun to record. I know it wasn't that tough in the end, as the drawbacks of the weapon, such as slow attacks and no combos, really didn't matter a whole lot once I was outputting crazy damage. But I just really wanted to make a Dark Souls video, and I figured the club would be a fun weapon to use on my very first challenge run of the game. Again, if you want to see all of the boss fights unedited in full, check out the link in the description, which will take you to a video containing all of the fights. Regardless, that's going to be in this challenge video. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider giving the video a like, and you're interested in more challenges in the future, feel free to subscribe. Try to one of these videos every week. My name is Nerbit, say everyone, I'll see y'all in the next video.
Man, after seeing that, I kind of want to play Dark Souls now. I probably won't do thing is, there are like several games I don't want to live stream, and Dark Souls is one of them because I know I'm dog shit at the game, and I know that there are some people out there who will let me know that I'm dog shit at the game. I don't need them to let me know I'm dog shit at the game. I know I'm bad at the game. I am not at all saying that I'm good at the game. I know that I know I suck. So, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much gonna go ahead and call it quits now. As much as I do like streaming, unfortunately, like I said, after yesterday, I'm just exhausted, and plus the sunburn is just bleh. You know what I mean? It's just bleh.
Shopping with your parents.
Oh God.
Really embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed the stream tonight. I'm glad that we got to get together on this Sunday evening. Glad that we got to watch the movie together. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be streaming next because I haven't actually gotten a good look at my schedule this week. But you guys know how I operate by now. If I can get on, I will, and I shall, and I'll get with each and every one of you. If not, I'll let you guys know. So that's basically how I work, you know? So, with that being said, I'm calling the conference to a close. I'd like to thank the viewers that are viewing and the followers that are following for joining us this fine evening. Shade, as always, pleasure to see you again. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you the rest of the night treats you well. And I hope to see you again also on your own streams. I should really raid you someday, Shade. Even though I don't have any viewers or anything to raid you with, it'd still be nice to raid you. Because I think you've raided me once. I don't think I've ever raided you, so I should probably like fix that, like legitimately. Okay. With that in mind, let's go ahead and do some closing statements. As always, take care, be well, stay healthy, stay hydrated, all of that good jazz. You know what I expect from you all at this point. But I want to keep reminding you all the same, because I don't know, it makes me feel better or something, I guess. I don't know. Lets me know that maybe, just maybe, you guys are paying attention. Seriously, take care of yourselves. That's what I ask, all right? And with that in mind, this has been Drago Umbra signing off, saying hi to each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves out there. And as always, please have a good night.